It's the marathon stream stats, everybody. It's the marathon stream stats. Now, over the past week, I've been compiling all of the data from the streams. I was recording every single poll hit I had in this notepad in front of me. And from that, I was able to pull the data into this. Like, this is the raw data that I've created the graphs from. The big table in the middle. This is the bit that took forever to go through and like pretty accurately determine how many actual hours I spent on RBC. So not sleeping, not doing other bits, not eating, actual hours playing RBC. And it came out to, this is quite an interesting thing actually, 202.5 hours. Just over 200 hours of a 475 hour stream was spent on RBC, which is still a fucking absurd amount of time, right? We also have this, which is hours and then the attempt counters. And how we calculated this, basically sections of random parts of the stream where I was playing RBC, and then timed how many attempts I'd get in like a minute in that section, and it would just be random segments, and it came out to an average of about 3. So for every hour, it's multiplied by 60, obviously for the minutes, and then multiplied by 3. 36,000 attempts at this glitch, and we'll see some stats as we progress here. The end, like at the very end of this segment, has like a great overview of like the percentages. But before we get into that, let's look at it in graph forms, right? Because that's how people can comprehend data. I've tried to make this as easy as possible, and I've tried to cover a range of stuff that I would find interesting, or I have found interesting. First graph, hours spent on RBC each day. Important to note, day 7, that's when I did the 100% run. It's interesting to me because I went up and up and up. I really committed myself. Like you can see, it went up, committed myself to a mental asylum. And then when I played less, I got the record. Hey, whether that means something, I don't know. Similarly, attempt counter is very much, you can see, equal pretty much to the hours spent. It's just a different way of expressing it. On average, we basically had around like 1,750 attempts in a day, which is fucking insane. And obviously it took us 36,000 and then some to get the record. Kind of mental. The lowest day was day 20. I got the clip, the high clip and the record on day 20, obviously excluding day 7 where we played 100% for 7 hours of the day. So this was actually really interesting to me, that I didn't necessarily have the most attempts equals the best attempts. I guess that's always the case, right, if you're playing this game or any game. Here's another interesting one. Number of high clips to glitches. So the blue here is the high clips that we got on any given day. You can see that every single day I got at least 1 high clip. And then even on the day where I was doing 100%, I still got 2 high clips. Ideally, you want is 100% of the glitches to be high clips. Day 20 here, the red and blue is the same level. That means 100%, so I had 1 high clip and 1 glitch. Day 8 was the closest to that, with like 5 glitches and 6 high clips. This is the most glitches anyone's got in a single day. Interesting as well, looking at this graph, previous to me starting this marathon, 4 was how many high clips James had in one day. I beat 4 on 12 separate days during this marathon. Obviously beating it with 5, then matching it with 5, following day going 7, and then obviously progressing and progressing. This day 19 is absurd. If I had day 19 at my lowest mental point, i.e. around like, I think it was day 13, it would have killed me, I think. Day 13 was my worst mental state, and looking at this graph, it's like a clear indication as to why. This high clip to glitch percentage, getting 7 high clips and then getting 2 glitches, so having 5 failed high clips basically, and then the very next day having another like 5 failed high clips is mentally taxing. Again, what you're looking for is to have that red bar as close to this blue bar as possible, and this gap I think is what drove me to be. But you can see day 14, after like regrouping, taking some time to myself, definitely helped. It definitely helped. I mean, the consistency, can I just say 60, well, even this 15, 16, 17, 18, this consistency here is like absurd. Day 19, I could have easily given up again. This is just a crazy day. 8 failed high clips and only 1 glitch. But of course, I had to persevere. I knew I was close. On day 20, the first high clip of the day. That's why it's 100%. The first high clip of the day, we got that glitch. Yeah, okay, let's note this as well. This dip here was the drought. Between day 10 and 11 is where I had 213 pole hits without a glitch. Moving on then to pole hits per day. So you can see, this is the high clips, and you can see the blue, if I just quickly flick between these two, correlates quite a lot. Again, day 7, low because I spent 7 hours doing a speedrun. Day 1, low because, I mean, first of all, the consistency day 1 was bad anyway, because I just wasn't in the groove yet. And then also, I only had like 12 hours from starting the stream to waking up. So it was like half the time. It goes up, and then it generally like just remains stable until it goes down, spikes, and then down again. Day 19, once again, absurd. Absolutely absurd. Here we go, 199 pole hits in a single day is crackers. When I first started this stream, I was looking to get 50 pole hits a day. After day 3, I was like, okay, I'm going to try and get 100 pole hits a day. This is the day where I gave up with that because mentally I was checking out. This was the day that I had 140 pole hits and was mentally low as shit because even with 140 pole hits, I still only had like one or two glitches that day. After day 11, like 2 weeks-ish in, I didn't bother keeping track of the exact amount of pole hits in a day. So I was like, it's just a number. It doesn't really matter exactly how many pole hits as long as I feel good in my own gameplay, which ultimately helped like get there. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as you said, this day, quadrupling my estimate in a day is absurd. You can see I only spent like 7.5 hours on RBC. So day 17 to day 19, 10 hours to 7.5. We spent like 75% of the time on RBC that day and doubled the day. It was an absurd day. I still can't get over that I almost hit 200 pole hits in a day. And then obviously day 20, 74th pole hit. We actually had a drought. We had a massive drought going into the world record, which is quite interesting as well. Next up, the pole hit to high clip. I've put a red arrow here because day 10, 11 is the 213 drought. So you can see on average, we were getting the pole hit. This is from all of the data, 1 in 26.5 times, which is slightly below what you'd expect. So what you'd expect is 1 in 25-ish. This is like exactly what you'd expect. However, obviously I got droughts of like 77, 88, 74, 89, 211, like 112 as well. It was rough. So the fact that I still managed to maintain an average of this is kind of crackers. Any of the low days is when that glitch percentage, like the average, is like way low. 3.7 is around here. So anything below that, like this is a prime example. That's like, yeah, 3.5. So anything below that, you can see is rough. Day 12 really helped bring up the average. Of course, the day 12, day 13, day 14 really helped bring up the average, which is kind of mental to think about because these 2 days are when I had that mental dip. After these 2 days, I had that mental dip. If I saw this data at that point, I probably would have been in a better mindset. Now moving on, similar data, high clip to glitch. So you can see some days where there's no data, I didn't get a single glitch, but I got high clips obviously. So it's 0. That's why it's 0. But every other day where there is a graph here, where there is a blue line, means I got at least one glitch. Obviously, day 20, the final day, is the only day that had 100% of my high clips being glitches, i.e. I made the glitch on the first attempt. Overall, percentage was just over 33%. So 1 in about 3. Okay, 1 in about 3 high clips was a glitch. I had days where it was like 5 out of 6. I had days where it was like this one, 5 out of 6, I think, on day 8. I had days where it was 100%, but generally it was like below that. Generally it was around 20 to 30-ish%, and then just some spikes of like getting lucky is how I describe it. Completed lap times. Now this is getting into the actual numbers of the Mario Kart laps. So in the next 2 we've got completed lap times and we have PB progression as well. So completed lap times, you can see this massive arrow here. The first lap that we completed was a 32.345, which is actually really funny. I didn't realize the digits were like that, 345. You can see this massive spike here is when I was just trying to get the glitch a lot without really caring about what time I wanted. This one here was when I failed the rail cut and decided to continue the lap anyway. So technically this is like slightly skewed because I could have excluded that data. And this one here is when I took forever to line up on the rail, but it's still interesting to include. Like I said, general trend is downwards, which is like what you'd expect for any track, but with a glitch track as well, it's helpful. You can see we started on a 32.345 and ended on a 29.2. Like I say, this is 25 total. We completed 30 glitches and 5 of them failed, like either falling off or not getting the first respawn. So I just reset the run before completing a lap. Similarly to this is the PPE progression. Now I couldn't get for the life of me a graph to work to show this data. But you can see that obviously it goes down. That's a given. And the hours spent in between is quite interesting to me. You can see 1 to 2 was like 70-ish hours, 75 hours. 2 to 3 was 100. And then by the time we got here, it was almost double the length of time in order to get that world record. It's kind of mental. It's kind of mental that it took basically almost exactly 200 hours to go from second worldwide, well, to go from our old PB second worldwide to the world record. That's kind of crazy. It's kind of absurd. We have the next slide, which is the overview. This is very interesting to me personally, this final like overview here. Over 36,000 attempts. 36,000 attempts in over 202.5 hours played. Kind of mental. Kind of mental. I mean, to do that on any track is absurd. To do that in one sitting is it was an experience for sure. I wouldn't recommend doing it. That's for sure. Pole hits. 2,000. So out of 36,000 attempts, or over 36,000 attempts, I had 2,226 pole hits in the marathon. That means 1 in every 16 attempts got a pole hit, which is kind of mental. And over the course of the entire marathon, that's about 1 every 5 minutes, just over 5 minutes. Obviously, sometimes we got back-to-back attempts. Sometimes there was droughts, but on average, 1 every 5 minutes. That's actually not bad. I was expecting it to be like worse than that, which is like awesome to see. Interestingly as well, I wanted to exclude day 1. So basically that meant it would take the pole hits down to like 2,196, which didn't actually change it too much considering we had, obviously the rest of the marathon was like so long anyway. But because of the drought that we went through on pole hits in day 1, before getting basically into the rhythm of stuff, it was quite interesting to see that it was still over 5 minutes. 5 minutes in every 5 minutes and 2 seconds on average, I would get a pole hit if we excluded day 1 from the data. Moving on to high clips. 84 high clips. We had 84 high clips in the marathon. From over 36,000 attempts, only 84 of those attempts were high clips. You can see that is 1 in every 435 attempts, or, which isn't too bad actually, 1 in every just under 1 in every 2.5 hours. That's kind of absurd. I was expecting this number, like just off the top of my mind, I was expecting it to be like 1 every 3.5 to 4 hours. So that's really, really cool to see that every 2.5 hours I could get a high clip. 0.23% that is, 1 in every 435 attempts. And then of course, glitches. 0.083% of my attempts resulted in a glitch. That's 1 in every 1,205 attempts, or 1 glitch every 6 hours and 42 minutes. I mean, if I played this track for about 7 hours, I'd likely get a glitch. These are better than what I expected. I expected this number to be about 8 hours. I expected this number to be about 3.5 to 4. Still, this like 0.083 is just a rough number. A rough number to look at. Over 1 in every 1,000. If anyone wants to grind this for record, good luck. You've seen the stats. That's what I'll say. Good luck. You've seen the stats. Overall thoughts on the stream. It went really well. It went really well. I expected, like when I first went into the stream, naively, I thought I could do it in under 10 days. I knew it was going to be like over a week. I didn't think it was going to be over, well, nearly 3 weeks. However, I wouldn't change it for the world. The grind, frustrating at times, mentally tough at times, but the story of the grind was like, I couldn't have scripted it better. every single day for like 4 days straight at the beginning, getting better and better and better and better. The challenge of these 2 days, doing this before then proceeding the next day to get one glitch and one high clip. The drought here of 213, I could not have scripted this grind to go any better. It's like phenomenal. It's phenomenal. So I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with the grind. I'm really happy with how it went. And if you guys want to watch that grind as well, there's now a playlist that you guys can see with every single one of the VODs. That being said, of course, I'm making content on this marathon. The first one has already come out, which is just like a condensed version of that interview. We've got the interview with Sam to go up. We've got the Ace World Record history. We've got learning RWS. All of these segments that I want to get out there. So if that's interests you, go sub to the channel, and enjoy it. Also, big video coming out on Valentine's Day is when I will be uploading the best of marathon stream video. That is going to be the biggest video that comes out on this. But if you have anything that you want to be in that video that is not a clip on Twitch, let me know.